Alright guys, this is being recorded shortly after the ladies prep chat tonight, and this will come out after my flashlight video, which hopefully I can get outside tomorrow night to finish. But it was brought up by somebody, a small car kit or something you could leave in the car or in an office. Obviously you want to keep it secured. But that being said, here's a cheap and simple kit that I've put together out of some of my extra stuff, with the exception of a radio here. But in a minute, we'll go over what we got here, and hopefully you got your coffee with you. So, be right back. Okay, so what do we got here? Well, this is a cheap, simple kit, and I've kind of outfitted it for winter type deal little bit. So the first thing we're going to have is a hat. Some sort of little toboggan type hat. Obviously you don't want to stick out if you're trying to escape. Yeah, it's got all kinds of fuzz on it. So we'll just kind of toss that over to the side there. Also on the outside is cheap little survival watch. I've done a review on this. Should be on the channel list somewhere under old videos. It's not working right now. I got to replace the battery, but it's got a thermometer on it. It does have a compass set. See if I can get this into the camera here. Oops. It is pointing north. You can keep it level here. See, it goes. It works. It also has a scraper, a fire steel on it. Of course, I have it scraped off. Watch on that side. One of these sides. There we go. I've got it somewhere. It will put off spark. There we go. Just gotta give it a little strength. But a cheap little survival watch. That was $5 off Wish. Next, I can get it off of here. Cheap Bofang radio with extended antenna. These are relatively inexpensive ham radio type 2As. There's tons of other videos on there, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the radio itself, but this way would be a good way to stay in communication with friends or family if everybody's got one set up. Also a way to carry water. Simple little stainless steel, or that one's stainless. And last a bit on the outside is a decent larger knife. This is an Elk Ridge bushcraft knife. I've kind of cleaned it up. It is razor sharp right now compared to when I got it. This is a sheath I made for it. Nice little tack clip there. But a decent knife. Inside the Elk Ridge bushcraft knife, this handle does come off, and there's a small spot in here. You could put needle and thread or a small fire steel, ferro rod if you got one. I've actually got a kit in here. It's a small kit. I'm not going to go take this apart to show you, but there is a small kit in here with needle, thread, and a small ferro rod. Excuse me while I knock everything over. Next, we'll start on this little outside pocket here. There isn't much in this pocket. There's a notepad, an ink pen, and a couple Callium sticks. And that pocket's empty. I didn't put nothing out here because it's just, when everything's folded down, it tends to put a lot of pressure on stuff. So next, we'll go into this pocket. This pocket, we got some coffee filters. If you're at a kind of a semi-flowing area, like the stream next to me, there's little bits of sediment as it flows. So when I go to gather water, I could use a coffee filter like this in front of the opening of my canteen, and I can fill it with water and get the hard particulates out of it. Then if need be, I can boil it just to make sure it's somewhat safe. Are we sure anything's really safe in this day and age? Next is a cheap little poncho. Like I said, this is a cheap beginner's kit. And Camera's having a focusing issue, sorry. But cheap little poncho. Next is a little folding stove. And I've got some quick little, just regular cotton ball tenders. And if I was going to carry this as a kit right now, I'd also have some of my nitro wax rounds, which there is a video coming up on the 30th, I think, that'll be released. Oops, it's not in frame. There we go, now we're in frame. Yeah, slide the camera there a little bit. But it'll demonstrate my nitro wax rounds compared to standard wax rounds. Also in here is a little wire saw. These aren't the greatest, but if you're having to hike it and you need to cut down, you know, branches that big around to make a raised bed or some type of lean-to shelter or something like that, or kindling, this could be a lifesaver. Could be. I got the rest of the items at the bottom here, and that pocket will be empty. I have one of those water bags and a straw for it. So if I know the water's clean, if I've boiled it, whatever, I can put water in here. This is one of the good ones with folding, you know, the wide base to it. And I got a straw I can drink out of it with. A redundant, you know, water holding and drinking system. Or I could boil it in that, let that sit, and then pour it in there while I boil up some more water. A little light. I haven't taken this off, that way the batteries don't die out on it. These are cheap little lights. You can get them for $1 at Walmart. They work pretty good. They last good, about 20 hours. And well, seeing as how night's usually not 20 hours long, you should get a day or two out of it with no problem. Also, there's another redundant fire starting item. This little guy's got a little striker, small ferro rod, and at the very tip, which there isn't much of it, there is a tad bit of tinder at the bottom that is saturated. I put a little bit of hand sanitizer in that to make sure it caught quickly, and of course it's got a glass breaker on it. So that takes care of that pocket, this pocket. Now we'll get into the big pocket. And again, I apologize for focusing issues. This camera's almost as old as I am some days. A couple bags of beef jerky, a little bit of different taste, a little bit of protein to help keep your energy up and keep you going. You know, a decent pair of gloves. These are more spring, summer, and fall, not exactly winter gloves, but they fit in the bag good. And if you got a good coat, you can always keep your hands in your coat pockets. Phone charger to go with a solar power bank. This one right here is enough to charge up most phones twice. This is a 5,000 milliamp and an appropriate charging cord for your phone. And I got a little clip on it so I can hang it on the outside if I need to, you know, to make sure I got sun. Cheap shelter system. It's got a couple tent stakes, a couple garbage bags. There's a couple Walmart bags in there too to help. You know, if you got to go through some wet areas and you don't exactly have good boots, put these over your feet and then put your boots back on to help keep your feet dry. That way you're not getting a lot of other issues. Next is a little bit of cordage. Yes, this is the stuff I had in Charles's bag. And it'll go back in his bag. Don't worry. Cordage, lots of uses for cordage. You can take it out, pull a couple strings out, and fishing kit. There's some fishing line in there, several different lures. If you got a trek next to water, having a fishing kit next to you would be handy if you're going to be out there an extended period of time and you need a way to get food. Inside here, this is just a little sewing kit with a few added extra items. One of those little teeny meeny pry bars that everybody says, oh so great, you've got to order one, they're $19.95, they're whatever. Wow. You know the commercials. Small thing of duct tape. Water purification tablets. There's also some fingernail clippers in here. I can't quite get it without the glare. But thread, safety pin, a couple different needles, and like I said, fingernail clippers. Just a bunch of odds and ends, you know, to help sew up some clothes if you need to. Next, I got first aid, and as you can see, it's from Survival Puck. The guy puts out some really good stuff. You need to go check him out. I'll try and remember to put a link below. But this has got first aid cream, it's got wound wipes, it's got tape, it's got band-aids, just a little bitty baby kit, boo-boo kit. You can take care of a blister, small cut. Great little item, fits nicely in the bag, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. Like I said, I'll try and remember to put a link, and you can check out on his website what all it has in it. A secondary knife, redundancy is always good. This is a camulus knife, and it is now razor sharp also, because I can't stand dull knives. But having a redundant knife is always nice to have. I pulled the belt clip off of this one so it fits in here better, but it did come with a regular belt clip, which you could leave on and attach to your side if you wanted. Next, almost last, is a small cutting board. So if you've got to cut fish, it's nice to have something solid to cut on rather than a tree or on the ground. Just something simple, nothing major. A radio. This is a crank radio. It's got a light, AM and FM on it. Nothing special, nothing spectacular. You can charge your phone off of it, charge your phone with it. It's got headphones in it. You can plug it into a wall and charge it. Sorry, brain's failing. It's late at night. I used this on a camping trip about a year and a half ago, and it did really well. It also has weather band on it. I'm sorry. Picked up a station. We were sleeping in a holler, and it did pretty good picking up the Christian station that was about 85 miles away, so I'm not going to complain. It did good. And last in the bag is a towel. Towels can be used to keep sweat off your forehead. It can be used to filter water. Everybody knows what a towel is good for. So there's a fair bit of stuff in here. And of course you can get more expensive stuff to fill it in or do whatever's needed. But this is just a nice basic idea. Don't take what I've got here and say, well, I've got to get this and that and this and that and that. This is just a suggestion for a small little car kit. It's got food, you got water catchment, way to carry it, you got a way to make quick shelter, you got a rain poncho, you got a watch, a radio for connecting with people, a regular radio for getting so-called local updates, a way to keep a phone charged. If you're worried about, if you want to throw your tin hat on for a second, an EMP or something like that, keep the sensitive electronic stuff inside a military style bag to protect it. That included. Take the tin off, shove it all inside a bag, inside a EMP protect bag, and you'll be safe. But like I said, simple little kit. It is what it is. So let me know what you think below. Grumpy old man. Catch you next time.